All right, welcome gentlemen to your free training. And I'm so excited that you clicked on this and decided to actually invest within yourself, because within this blueprint, I'm gonna show you the 3 steps to make any text interesting. Because likely right now, your texts are boring, uninteresting. And because of that, your conversations are consistently dying out, while you're probably getting matches, but you can rarely convert to dates, and while you may be attractive, but you still can't stand out. Now, like I said, what I'm about to show you is perhaps the best texting strategy. And if you watch the whole video, here's what you'll learn. You'll learn the simple process that Playboys use to keep women hooked, how to text a woman who isn't even that invested within the conversation and get her to invest, how to never run out of things to say, and how to effortlessly set up dates quickly. Now, if you don't believe me, listen to this. My client on the left says, to anyone who is new, follow the blueprint. It works. Why? Because he went from not being able to set up dates to mastering his text game, and now he's setting up dates efficiently. My other client in the middle, he says he has more matches than what he knows what to do with, and he has 2 more dates set up this week and a couple more brewing that he can't even fit in. Imagine your text game getting so good that you literally have too many dates to set up, not enough time. And then also, my other client here, he says he never thought that he'd get to this point. He has a date on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday lined up. All right, so I'm telling you, if you stick with me through this, you're gonna learn exactly what they are using and how you can implement it within your own texting framework starting today. With that being said, let me introduce you to the LOL framework. Now, some of you guys might know LOL as laugh out loud. However, in this case, this is a mental filter system for every text you will send out. And let's go ahead and break it down step by step. So the L, this stands for not logical. All right, not logical. Now, what does that actually mean? Logical texting equals seeing and replying at face value, aka taking everything literally. Now, the issue with us men is that most of us tend to reply logically, especially if you're a smart and successful man. Because the way us men communicate is logical. We take things at face value. 2 + 2 = 4. However, with women, we have to speak to their heart, not their head. We have to craft something called emotional appeal. And in doing so, it's going to make your text a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, and a lot more engaging. Now, stick with me. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. But first, let me show you a bad example. So this was one of my clients' texts before he actually started working with me. And let's see how horrible this actually is when it comes to a logical perspective. So this is Bumble. The woman actually opened him. She said, "Hey, how's it going?" He said, "Hey, doing good. Thanks. What's keeping you up?" He says, "Getting ready for bed, just figuring out this app, my first couple hours on here." So as we see here, he's taking the question at face value and replying in such a logical format. "Oh, nice. I'm here at home, bored." So to me, this sounds like the woman is trying to, start something, mix the pot a little bit. And he says, "Same, been a super long day." Guys, are you getting the point here? Like every single text is super logical. "Oh, packed by today, huh? Packed day every day." Like, it's so boring. Even I'm getting bored of this conversation. This is what we don't want to do. And so let me tell you a practical way of how to stop answering logically and appeal to their emotions. So what you're going to do is respond with a playful twist or exaggeration instead of a direct answer. Now, let's see some examples here. We're going to redo the conversation. So she says, "What are you up to?" Instead of just saying "just working out," which is boring and logical, you're going to twist it into something playful. "Training to fight off ninjas. The gym is wild today." You see how that can craft a more engaging conversation and you're not just saying exactly what you're doing literally? Or when a woman asks, "How's your day?" instead of saying "good, just running errands," which is dry and predictable, you could say, "Pretty solid. I saved a kitten, closed $1 million deal, and had the best sandwich of my life." Now, once you do this, it's going to make your text a lot more fun, unpredictable, and emotionally engaging instead of robotic. The key is to add a playful exaggeration and to misinterpret what she says in a funny way, or give an unexpected answer that sparks a conversation. So what I want you to do now is take a look at your text, see where you replied logically at, and then I want you to practice twisting and misinterpreting what she says and giving a playful answer. Remember, girls just want to have fun. Girls are not logical. We need to appeal to their emotions. We need to paint a story in her head, as I mentioned right here. And so if we paint that story in her head, this is also how we get her more emotionally invested within us, and our conversation will be stand out compared to all the other men who she's texting. Now, a big issue I find is that guys will still do logical questions. And whenever you send logical questions, you get logical answers. And so that brings me to the next part of the LOL framework, which is the O, and it stands for open-ended. Open-ended questions. Now, please remember that it's okay to ask questions and lead the conversation, but they have to be the right ones. I'm not saying that you can never ask questions. In fact, I believe you should be asking questions because whoever asks the questions leads the conversations. However, it must be the right type of questions. Now, what is a close-ended question? A close-ended question is anything that can be answered with a yes or no or in one word. So not just yes or no, but also in one word. So for example, you might say, hey, how's your day? Her, good, just working. You? Nice, what do you do for work? Her, I'm a nurse. Oh, cool, how long have you been doing that? Like 3 years now. Do you like it? Yeah, it's pretty rewarding. That's good. Do you work night shifts? So you see how I'm already falling asleep with this? Because every single question is close-ended and it's not sparking any sort of conversation. Now, why is this bad? Like I said, too many close-ended questions. For example, do you like it? Where have you traveled? You think these are interesting, but the truth is they are not. She can answer yes or no, or just in one word to these questions. There's also no personality or humor. It's all dry and fact-based questions. Once again, logical-based questions. And after a while, it starts to feel like a job interview and it's just not engaging whatsoever. This is where we'll see women leave the man on red or leave you on red, and you're wondering, why did that happen? Because I thought the conversation was good. Truth is, it was just boring. So how do we actually use open-ended questions? It's all about how you phrase the question at the start. And these are some keywords we're going to use. For the first one, it's going to be what. For example, what's the best part of your day so far? So because we asked it in this format, she has to be a lot more descriptive. Also, how? How did you get into that? Why? Why do you like that place so much? Tell me about your ideal weekend. Tell me about your favorite drink. If you could, describe, explain, and what's the story behind. And so right now, I want you to screenshot this right now. And before you ask another question, you're going to ask yourself, can this be answered in one word or by just a simple yes or no? If that's the case, it is close-ended. Now, here's a pro tip. I want you to actually think ahead. Now, when I say think ahead, let's say you want to ask a question. So for example, what did you do yesterday? It's the first thought you're thinking. I would ask myself, and you should ask yourself, if she was to reply to this, what would she say? Whenever you ask a question, just make sure that you think ahead to what she's actually going to say to you. Up next, we have leading. Because remember, we need to move the conversation forward. We are not looking for pen pals. What we want to do is actually set up dates. And so in terms of leading, the destinations we're going to go to is social media, phone number, or to the date itself. As a man, it's always going to be on you to lead. The woman's not going to lead you into a date unless she's really, really highly interested in you. If anything, I see guys, they text for too long and the woman stops replying and they wonder why, because it never led anywhere. The woman's always going to put on you to lead. And so I have some leading lines here in which I want to share with you, and these are definitely going to help out. So if we want to plant the seed towards a date, and this is primarily going to be on the dating app itself, you're going to say, that reminds me, have you ever been to a certain spot? You'd love it. So basically here we're planting the idea of a progression towards something. It's very subconscious. It's not really direct, but it still works. Also, IG or phone number, let's talk there. So this is going to be the dating app transfer, going from dating app to actually a phone number or social media. And I find that this reply is really good, especially if you're a beginner, because you give them the option to choose. And from there, you can see which funnel works best for you. For the most part, you're going to find most women are going to say IG if you do go this route, but test it for yourself. Then also the soft close. So this is how we kind of like prime the date and kind of see her interests. You're going to say, I feel like we'd vibe even better in person. Let's make that happen. And so here, once again, we're gauging her interest into actually meeting up, but we're leading it there. We're not just conversing for no reason. And then the hard close, are you busy Tuesday or Thursday night? I know a cool spot we could go to. And this is after she has accepted the soft close. Now, just to show you guys an example of how this works in action, how my clients are actually leading. For example, as we see here, this girl's from Germany. He said, I'm from here. I actually went to Germany. My dad used to live there, Munich and Frankfurt. How bad are the German men compared to us? So, what is that? That's an example of an open-ended question, not close-ended. She says they're better, taller, and have better manners. So you do know a little bit of German. So we're getting good investment too. He says, LOL, that's good, real gentleman, and I know Oma, Opa, and a few others. Instagram or phone number. Let's talk there. She gives the number. Within a few messages. There's like 3 more messages before this, but this is a point of open-ended alongside with leading lines. Then also, this is a transfer from a dating app that has already happened. This woman says she's a lawyer, and he asks, are we a lawyer or still in training? He sends a voice note, which is a great comfort building technique. And she says, oh, amazing. Congrats to your sister. I'm working at a firm, thankfully, though I'm hybrid. He then says, well, if you find break next week, we should meet up and talk more. I'm definitely down on what days work best. So this is an example of the soft close. He is leading it towards a date at the middle part of the funnel. She's actually highly interested given that she's asking which days work best. So if he wasn't to do that, guess what? She would have just talked his head off. It just would have been a conversation going on forever. So be sure to use those leading lines. Here's how I want you to put this into action. Practice your next messages by mentally following the whole entire LOL framework. The first question you're going to ask yourself is my reply too logical? Remember, don't take every message at face value. Twist it up, give it an exaggeration, and make it fun. Also, are my questions open-ended? Can she reply to it in just one word or just yes or no? If that's the case, we need to form it and shift it a little bit differently. And then lastly, am I leading the conversation towards a date? Even if you already met the woman, are we leading it towards a second date, towards a third date? Understanding this framework is just the first step. Most guys still fail because they don't know how to apply it to their unique situation. And after working with hundreds of guys, I find that every single guy is unique because what works for one man doesn't work for the other. And your look, your vibe, and your personal brand all influence how you need to implement this. Now, this is where most men will get stuck and why they either end up looking try hard, bland, or worse, completely ignored. So if you want direct personalized feedback on how to apply this to your unique specific situation and dating profile so that you can start seeing results immediately, let's talk. Go ahead and book a call. The link will be right below this page. And let's fix this so that you can start attracting and keeping the women who you actually want. I'm going to be your wingman. I'm going to be there right there alongside with you. But regardless, if you follow this, I promise you, you will get results. But if you want to take it to the next level, let's definitely talk more. All right, so click that link down below. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.